Hello, this is Deanna Bush. Welcome to the tutorial on creating your clustered column bar chart. We're going to do this in 2003. The basic principles are the same in 2007 and 2010, but the toolbars up above are much different. So this will give you a general idea of what I'm looking for. And let's start with the instructions. On the graph chart worksheet, create a clustered column bar chart displaying the average of the proficiency numbers. Here is the biggest mistake everybody makes. First, they don't make a bar chart, or second, they display only the average of the information. So let's take our data worksheet, and I'm going to show you how the first error is made. What many students do is they will highlight the data, the raw data, these raw proficiency numbers, and they will create a chart out of it. Now, here is where the second mistake most commonly occurs. Many people will create a column chart. A bar chart is a column chart turned on its side. So in this case, this is what we've got. And there are three kinds that they give you the options for in 2003. You have more in 7 and 10. A stacked bar, a clustered bar, and a 100% stacked bar, which gives you the percentages those numbers are of 100. We want a clustered bar. I don't care whether it's 3D or two-dimensional. The point is a clustered bar. So this part will be correct, but watch what happens when I hit next. Notice that now I've got all this different data per student, but it didn't ask me for per student data. It asked me for the average data. Well, we've already taken all the time to put the formulas together here for the average of that data. All we need to do now is put it together into a clustered bar chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight our data sheet here, and I'm going to copy it over here on the graphs and charts page. And I'm going to remove anything we don't need. And I'm going to do something, for example, we don't need years of teaching because this is not the data we are graphing. So we'll delete that. We don't need these numbers over here because this is not the data we are graphing. In fact, we don't even need these people's names because it's not the data we're graphing. In this case, we'll shift the cells up because we don't want to mess everything up. What we do need is the average, median, and mode, or in this case, just the average. So what I'm going to do for ease of process is I'm going to copy these headings down here. You'll see why in a second. Now, so far, what I've done is I've taken that raw data that's above and I've turned it into a nice little table of data down here. But I'm not done yet. When I go back and look at the instructions, I notice that they've given me specific directions for how to abbreviate each of my categories. So I need to go in and do that. I find it's easiest to do that by just turning on your caps lock button and typing them in. So WP, database becomes DB, spreadsheet is SS, graphics is GR, presentation is PR, internet is INT, computer instruction I think is TI, and troubleshooting is TT. Now we're just going to double check that that's correct. Technology, computer, same difference. Alright, so these appear to match up, so we can go back to our graphs and charts page. Now, the reason we have left this here is because we used formulas to come up with our average. So if we changed the data up here, it would change the information down here. But now that we've done that, we can highlight these headings and this information. Go to our chart wizard, select the correct chart type, and I'm going to do 3D, and hit next. Now what we see is a very simple chart. I'm going to put this chart in as an object just for simplicity's sake. So we're titling our chart average, and I would say average proficiency scores. Take your caps lock off. Okay. And you can do an x-axis if you would like. And click next. We're going to make it the same sheet again just for ease because we can always move it over this data. So what I've got right here is I have my chart. Now my chart's not really ready to go though because I don't see all of these labels. So what we're going to do is, I did that quickly. You're going to double click here and you get this format for this axis. And you're going to go to scale, and instead of having 2 between the tick mark labels, make it 1. Click OK, and now all of them are showing up. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go through and just make this look the way you want it to. So my font, if I don't want it to be as large as it is, I can change it out. I can lower my number of decimal places, just things that will make it a little easier. I can go in and click on my chart area and bring it down so that it fills out more of the area. I can move the key, the legend, over here. I can extend the 3D options out if I want. And in this case, what I'm going to do, just the very last thing, is I'm going to lower this down and I'm going to move this title up. So what I've done now is I've just taken through and I've just made it a little tidier. I can even go in, and if I like a different color, if I want to use a fill effect, I can go through and play around with that, but it really isn't as important as getting your chart correct. The idea with your chart is to create something that at a glance will show me what proficiency scores are higher for our class and what are not. This chart would be fine. It has all of the required elements. We even got a little fancy. The only thing I would change if I wanted to make sure I was turning it in properly would be to go in and adjust that scale so that the highest number is the 5, because then you get a really nice understanding of how big that gap is in the average score between that 3.6 and change and the 5 that is the ideal. So this is how you would do your cluster bar chart. Remember that you can always ask questions on the question thread, or you can ask on your individual forum, but I hope that this is helpful and I wish you the best of luck.